of all, I thought.
And best of all, I thought. And best of all, I thought. And best of all, I thought.
I can make my feet the size of all the shoes that are on the sales rack.
I can make my feet the size of all the shoes that are on the sales rack. Sales rack. I can make my feet the size of all the shoes that are on this size of all the shoes that are on the sales rack. Sales rack.
Feet the size of all the shoes that are on the sales rack.
And best of all, I thought.
And thus of all, I thought.
And best of all, I thought I can make my feet the size of all the shoes that are on the sales rack.
I can make my feet the size of all the shoes that are on the sales rack. And I did. So there were benefits here.
So there are benefits here.
It was this moment that I asked myself.
It was this moment that I asked myself.
That life-defining question.
The life-defining question. It was at this moment that I asked myself a life-defining question.
If my life were a book.
If my life were a book.
And I were the author.
And I were the author.
How would I want this story to go?
How would I want the story to go? If my life is if my life were a book and I were the author, how would I want the story to go?
And I began to daydream. I daydreamed like I did as a little girl.
I began to daydream. I daydreamed like I did as a little girl. I began to daydream. I daydreamed like I did as a little girl. I began to daydream. I daydreamed like I did as a little girl.
And I imagined myself. Walking gracefully. Helping other people through my journey. And snowboarding again.
I began to daydream. I daydreamed like I did as a little girl. I began to imagine myself walking gracefully, helping others along the journey, and snowboarding again.
And I didn't just see myself carving down a mountain of powder. Through my journey. And snowboarding again. And I didn't just see myself carving down a mountain of powder. I could actually feel it.
Carving down a mountain of powder. Carving down a mountain of powder. Is the snow mountain, and carving down is when she's skating down with the board on the snow as if she's carving down a mountain of powder. Carving down a mountain of powder.
Self carving down a mountain of powder.
I just didn't see myself.
Self.
I didn't just see myself carving down a mountain of powder. I didn't just see myself carving down a mountain of powder.
Carving down a mountain of powder. I could actually feel it.
I could actually feel it. I could actually feel it. I could actually feel it. I just didn't. I didn't just feel. I didn't just see myself. I just didn't see myself. I didn't just see my. I didn't just see myself. I didn't just see myself carving down a mountain of powder. Carving down a mountain of powder. I could actually feel it.
Self carving down a mountain of powder. I could actually feel it. I could feel the wind against my face.
I could feel the wind against my face. I could feel the wind against my face. I could feel the wind against my face.
And the beat of my racing heart.
And the beat of my racing heart. And the beat of my racing heart. And the beat of my racing heart.
As if it were happening in that very moment.
As if it were happening in the very moment. As if it were happening in the very moment. As if it were happening in the very moment. I could feel the wind against my face, the beat of my heart, as if it were happening in that very moment.
Beat of my beat, feel it. I could feel the wind against my face.
I could feel the wind against my face, and the beat of my heart,
and the beat
of my racing heart, as if it were happening at the right moment.
As if it were happening
in the very moment.
And that is when a new chapter in my life began.
And that is when a new chapter in my life began. And that is when a new chapter in my life began. And that is when a new chapter in my life began.
4 months later, I was back up on a snowboard.
4 months later, I was back upon a snowboard. 4 months later, I was back upon a snowboard. 4 months later, I was back upon a snowboard.
Although things didn't go quite as expected.
Although things didn't go quite as expected. Although things didn't go quite as expected. Although things didn't go quite as expected.
My knees and my ankles wouldn't bend.
My knees and ankles wouldn't bend.
My knees and my ankles wouldn't bend.
My knees and ankles wouldn't bend. My knees and ankles wouldn't bend. My knees and ankles wouldn't bend.
And at one point, I traumatized all the skiers on the chairlift.
And at one point, I traumatized all the skiers on the chairlift, 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 chairlift. That's called chairlift.
Skiers on the chairlift.
At one point, I traumatized all the skiers on the chairlift.
When I fell and my legs still attached to my snowboard.
When I fell and my legs still attached to my snowboard. When I fell and my legs still attached to my snowboard.
My legs still attached to my snowboard. Went flying down the mountain.
Went flying down the mountain. Went flying down the mountain. Went flying down the mountain.
And I was on top of the mountain still.
And I was on the top of the mountain still. And I was on the top of the mountain still. 4 months later, I was back on my snowboard. Back on a snowboard.
Back up on a snowboard.
Back up on a snowboard.
Although
it didn't go well as I expected. Although it didn't go well quite as expected.
Things didn't go quite as expected.
My knees and my ankles didn't bend. My knees and my ankles didn't bend.
Knees and my ankles wouldn't bend.
Wouldn't bend. And at one point, I traumatized all the skiers on the chairlift.
And at one point, I traumatized all the skiers on the chairlift when I fell.
When I fell and my legs still attached to the snowboard.
And my legs legs still attached to my snowboard.
Flew down the mountain.
Went flying down the mountain.
Went flying down the go flying. Went flying down the mountain. And I'm still on top of the mountain.
And I was on top of the mountains.
And I was on top of the mountain still.
I was so shocked.
I was so shocked that
I was just as shocked as everybody else. And
I was so shocked. I was just as shocked as everybody else. I was so shocked. I was just as shocked as everybody else.
I was so discouraged.
And I was so discouraged. And I was so discouraged. And I was so discouraged.
But I knew that if I could find the right pair of feet,
But I knew that if I could find the right pair fit, but I knew that if I could find the right pair of fit, but I knew that if I could find the right pair of fit,
that I would be able to do this again.
that I'll be able to do this again. That I'll be able to do this again. I was so disappointed. I was just as disappointed as everybody else. No. I was so shocked. I was so shocked. I was just as shocked as everybody else, but I was also so discouraged.
So shocked as everybody else, and I was so discouraged.
But I knew that if I could find the right pair of the right pair of fit, I could do this again.
I knew that if I could find the right pair of feet, that I would be able to do this again.
That I would be able.
But I knew that if I could find the right pair.
But I knew that if I could find the right pair of my feet, that I could do this. That I would be able to do this again.
Feet, that I would be able to do this again. And this is when I learned that our borders and our obstacles.
And
this is when I learned that our borders and our obstacles.
This is what I learned. What the?
And this is when I learned.
This is when I learned, and this is when I learned that our borders.
That our borders and our obstacles.
And our obstacles. That our borders and our obstacles. This is when I learned that our borders and obstacles
can only do two things.
Can only do two things. Can only do two things. And this is when I learned. And this is when I learned that our borders and obstacles can only do two things.
One, stop us in our tracks. Can only do two things. One, stop us in our tracks.
Stop us in our tracks. Stop us in our tracks.
Or two, force us to get creative.
Or force us to get creative. First, stop us in our tracks, or two, force us to get creative.
I did a year of research, still couldn't figure out what.
I did a year of research and still couldn't figure out. I did a year of research and still couldn't figure out
what kind of legs to use. Couldn't find
what kind of legs to use. What kind of legs to use.
any resources that could help me.
Couldn't find any resources that could help me. I did a year of research, couldn't find the right pair of legs. Wow, amazing.
I did a year of research, still couldn't figure out what kind of legs to use, couldn't find any resources that could help me.
I couldn't find any resources that could help me.
So, I decided to make a pair myself.
So I decided to make a pair myself.
My leg maker and I put random parts together.
My leg maker and I put random parts together.
And we made a pair of feet that I could maker and I put random parts together.
My leg maker and I put random parts together.
And we made a pair of feet.
And we made a pair of fit.
That I could snowboard in.
That I can snowboard in. My leg maker and I put the random things together, and we made a pair of feet that I can snowboard in.
As you can see, rusted bolts,
rubber,
wood,
wood,
and neon pink duct tape.
neon pink, neon 색깔의 pink, neon pink duct tape. As you can see, rusted bolts, rubber, wood, and neon pink duct tape.
And yes, I can change my toenail polish.
Yes, I can change my toenail polish. Yes, I can change my toenail polish.
And yes, I can change my toenail polish.
Toenail polish. Toenail polish. Toenail polish. Toenail polish. Toenail polish. Nail polish. A cosmetic lacquer that dries quickly and that is applied to the nails to color them or make them shiny. Nail polish, toenail polish, nail polish.
It was these legs and the best 21st birthday gift I could ever receive.
It is these and the best 21st birthday gift I could ever receive. This is this lad.
And yes, I can change my toenail polish. It was these legs and the best 21st birthday gift.
It was these legs and the best 21st birthday gift. It was these legs and the best 21st birthday gift
I could ever receive.
I could ever receive.
A new kidney from my dad.
And a new kidney from my dad. And a new kidney from my dad. And a new kidney from my dad.
That allowed me to follow my dreams again.
That allowed me to follow my dreams again. It was these pair of legs.
And the best. And yes, I can change my toenail polish. It was these legs and the best 21st birthday gift I could ever receive. A new kidney from my dad that allowed me to follow my dreams again.
It was this pair of legs and the best 21st birthday gift that I could ever receive. A kidney from my dad that allowed me to snowboard again.
My dad that allowed me to follow my dreams again. I started snowboarding, then I went back to work.
I started snowboarding and then I went back to work.
Then I went back to school. Then in 2005, I co-founded a nonprofit organization.
Then in 2005, I co-founded a non-profit organization. Then in 2005, I co-founded a non-profit organization. Then in 2005, I co-founded a non-profit organization
For youth and young adults with physical disabilities. I co-founded a nonprofit organization for youth and young adults with
youth and young adults with physical disabilities.
Physical disabilities, so they could get involved with action sports.
So they can get involved with action sports. So they could get involved with action sports. Bungee jumping, snowboarding. I began snowboarding. Then I went back to work. I started snowboarding.
Then I went back to
Then I went back to work. Then I went back to school.
work. Then I went back to school.
And 2005,
Then in 2005,
I co-founded a non-profit organization
I co-founded a nonprofit organization
for youth and young generation.
for youth and
For youth and young adults with a physical disability,
young adults with physical disabilities so they can get
so they can get involved with the action sports.
involved with action sports. From there, I had the opportunity to go to South Africa.
From there, I had an opportunity to go to South Africa. From there, I had an opportunity to go to South Africa,
Where I helped to put shoes on thousands of children's feet
where I helped to put shoes on thousands of children's feet. Where I helped to put shoes on thousands of children's feet
so they could attend school.
so they could attend school. I had an opportunity to go to South Africa where I can help to put shoes for thousands of
So they could attend school. I needed to go to South Africa, where I helped to put shoes on thousands
put shoes on thousands of the children's feet. Put shoes on. Help to put shoes on. Put your shoes on.
the children's feet so they could attend school. And just this past February, I won 2 back-to-back World Cup gold medals.
I won 2 back-to-back World Cup gold medals. I won 2 gold back-to-back. I won 2 back-to-back gold medals.
Which made me the highest ranked adaptive female snowboarder.
Highest ranked adaptive female snowboarder. Adaptive female snowboarder. Adaptive female snowboarder.
The highest ranked adaptive female snowboarder in the world.
7분 55초.